Imagine the sky over Israel open today at precisely 1612 local time, revealing a prophetic sign that echoes with an almost tangible intensity from the ancient weathered pages of the Bible, something that happened right in this very moment, and that most people completely ignore, lost in the hustle of daily life and superficial headlines, but that could change the course of human history forever, leaving an indelible mark not just on one nation, but on the global destiny in a profound spiritual, political, and social context that stretches far beyond our current grasp. Yes, I'm talking about the prophecy that fulfilled today in Israel, an event that's not a mere coincidence or a fleeting stroke of diplomatic luck, but a divine alert that screams urgency for those with eyes to see beyond the surface and ears to hear the eternal truths embedded in the scriptures, calling us to pause and contemplate the unfolding of times we find ourselves in. Do you think the news about the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is just politics? A routine mix of negotiations, temporary pacts, and strategic maneuvers that will fade from memory soon? Think again, because this development aligns perfectly with ancient biblical predictions that speak of an apparent peace before the Great Tribulation, a phase of deceptive calm that the prophets foresaw as the harbinger of catastrophic and transformative events marking the end times, a theme that demands our deepest consideration. Let's dive into this step by step, exploring each layer with care and reverence, because what's coming next will leave you breathless. Unveiling connections that transcend the immediate and weave a tapestry linking distant antiquity with our turbulent present, challenging us to view the world through a renewed lens. In the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, there's an impressive prophecy about Gog and Magog, where Israel is described as a nation living in safety, without walls or gates, a state that stands in stark contrast to its historical role as a contested land and hints at an unusual stability before a massive invasion by enemy nations. A vision captured by the ancient scribes with remarkable clarity that seems to come alive today. Ezekiel 38:11 says, "I will go up against a land of unwalled villages. I will come against a peaceful people who dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates." Does this description of an Israel at peace, after years of relentless conflict and enduring tensions, sound familiar in light of the events unfolding right before us, as if the words from millennia ago are materializing in real time? Today on October 13, 2025 at 1612 local time, the world witnessed the announcement of a historic ceasefire mediated by President Trump following weeks of intense behind-the-scenes negotiations freeing hostages who had been held in harrowing conditions and promising the end of the war that began on October 7, 2023, a conflict that left deep scars across the region and in the hearts of millions affected by its violence. But this isn't just a diplomatic achievement, backed by protocols and official statements. It's the exact fulfillment of that prophetic condition, where Israel finally dwells safely, a state that the ancient prophets viewed as a pivotal moment preceding apocalyptic events that would reshape the face of the earth. The ancient prophets saw this as the prelude to events of eschatological nature, and now with Iran, Russia, Turkey, and other regional actors watching every move with strategic interest, we're seeing the pieces of this prophetic puzzle fit together with a precision that defies mere chance, suggesting a divine plan that goes beyond human actions. In Daniel 9:27, it speaks of a covenant confirmed with many for 1 week, a period that many interpreters identify as a peace agreement in the heart of the Middle East, marking the start of the last week of prophetic years, a 7-year cycle laden with spiritual meanings and divine judgments. This initial ceasefire, which includes detailed phases for progressive disarmament, reconstruction of devastated infrastructures, and the establishment of a provisional administration in Gaza under international oversight, couldn't be more similar, evoking the sense that the pages of the Bible are coming to life right before our television screens, with each press release becoming an echo of verses penned thousands of years ago, urging us to examine our reality through the lens of eternal promises. Now, let's deepen this analysis with greater detail, employing terms like sacred prediction, apocalyptic vision, and eschatological alert to unravel the layers of significance underlying these occurrences, delving not only into the biblical text, but also into the historical backdrop and potential implications for the immediate future. The current theme, this truce in Israel, isn't an isolated incident amid the chaos of the modern world. It resonates with synonyms like prophesied alliance and divine covenant, demonstrating how contemporary events echo the millennial scriptures from the days of the Hebrew prophets to this era of instant connectivity where news travels at the speed of light. Think of the signs outlined in Matthew 24, where Jesus speaks of wars and rumors of wars shaking the earth, but also of false Christs and false peaces that deceive multitudes, painting a picture of a world filled with illusions that test the faith of believers. This fragile peace we are celebrating could be exactly that, an illusion before the storm, a moment of respite that conceals underlying tensions and prepares the ground for conflicts of biblical proportions. a scenario that warrants our attention and prayerful consideration. Look at the broader context after 2 years of a devastating conflict with over 67,000 Palestinians lost due to relentless bombardments and military operations, and Israeli hostages released in an emotionally charged process that reunited families torn apart by violence. The world breathes a sigh of relief, embracing the hope for a more stable future. But the Bible warns with clarity that, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes, in 1 Thessalonians 5:3. A caution that echoes like a prophetic reverberation through the centuries and calls us to remain vigilant. Doesn't that send a chill down your spine when pondering its implications for today? Let's continue exploring the specific elements with more depth. Trump's involvement, seen by some as an unexpected prophetic facilitator on the global stage, aligns with visions of leaders who have served as instruments in larger plans throughout history, raising questions about the role of major powers in the fulfillment of prophecies. Synonyms like biblical revelation and eschatological fulfillment help us perceive that this isn't a simple historical accident, but part of a divine design that transcends political agendas and fleeting headlines. In Revelation 20, Gog and Magog are mentioned again at the end of the 1,000 years. But many theologians hold that Ezekiel refers to a pre-tribulation event, an initial clash that will test global faith before the millennial reign of peace. Today, with Israel celebrating the return of 20 living hostages who endured unimaginable sufferings in captivity and mourning, the loss of 28 dead, whose bodies were returned in a solemn ceremony that united the nation in grief, we're seeing a nation without walls, reliant on international alliances, like those mediated by Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, which played a crucial role in sealing this agreement. The prophecy doesn't stop at this superficial peace. It advances to divine intervention, where God defends Israel miraculously, with vivid descriptions of earthquakes, plagues, and confusion among enemies, as detailed in Ezekiel 38:19-22, offering a picture of celestial judgment that protects the chosen ones. Don't you feel this stirs a desire to delve further into this narrative? Because there are still more facets to uncover in this prophetic message. Imagine this truce opens doors for the reconstruction of the temple in Jerusalem, another fundamental prophetic sign in Daniel and Revelation, setting the stage for the Antichrist who will desecrate the holy place, as warned in Daniel 11:31 and 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4, an event that marks the midpoint of the tribulation and accelerates the final judgments described in the scriptures. Using terms like sacred omen and apocalyptic harbinger, we can see that today's event is the missing link uniting ancient and modern, connecting the days of ancient kings with this digital age where news spreads instantaneously and prophecies materialize before our eyes. Additionally, consider the humanitarian impact with Gaza reduced to rubble. The reconstruction promised in the agreement can be viewed as a fulfillment of restoration promises, but also as a prelude to future conflicts as predicted in Zechariah 12, where Jerusalem becomes a burdensome stone for the nations. Now, reaching the climax with growing intensity, the final revelation is that this prophecy fulfilled today because Israel now dwells safely, fulfilling Ezekiel verbatim in every descriptive nuance. And no one noticed that this activates the prophetic clock for the final events, a divine timer counting down to Christ's return and the judgment of nations. Reflect deeply, what if this is the beginning of the end, as Jesus warned in Matthew 24:3-14, with signs like earthquakes, famines, and persecutions intensifying worldwide. The urgency is evident and pressing. Prepare spiritually. Seek truth in the Bible with dedication. Study the prophecies with prayer. Join faith communities for collective discernment, because time is short and opportunities for repentance are limited. Share this message widely with friends and family. Comment below what you think about these surprising connections, and subscribe for more detailed revelations connecting ancient prophecies to current real-world events, guiding you to navigate these turbulent times with wisdom and hope. God bless you abundantly, granting peace and discernment amid uncertainty.